So actress Rashida Jones. Now, Rashida Jones is the legendary Quincy Jones' daughter. And she's on this show with Kenya Barris called AF. I'm not going to say the rest of it, but that's the name of the show. It's basically another form of black. It's just more vulgar, right? So many people was complaining that Rashida Jones is playing the wife and she's being looked at as being black. Because of Rashida Jones, she's that kind of person that has a white parent, black parent, but she could pass. And that's the issue that more so they're looking at. Not so much, let's say, if she was a black person that couldn't pass, then maybe they wouldn't say much about it. But because she looked like she can pass, she has played roles where she's been considered white and not black. That's how much that she could pass. But so she playing this role as, Kenya Barris's wife. But if you kind of look at his family, it's literally mirroring what his family is based on the makeup from his wife to, the way Rashida looks, etc. But a lot of people, had an issue with that. They felt that, wait a minute, Rashida Jones doesn't represent black women. What is this? Why is it they trying to put the most racially ambiguous looking woman up there to say this is his wife, this is black women? That is a legitimate argument in a lot of ways. It is a legitimate argument because, they make sure when they say somebody's white, they don't try to find someone like Rashida all the time and put her as the white woman, as the star of something. They usually don't do that. They try to find a white woman that's white. Now when it comes to black women, of course, black women come from, like they say, ebony to ivory. They come in many different looks and features, etc. So you can't just say black women look a certain way. But I understand the argument. I do understand it. But at the same time, part of her lineage is black. And Kenya Barris is the one selected her for that role. But some people, took issue with that. So in this particular article, they posted a lot of pictures of, Rashida Jones has definitely had one with her father, Quincy, and, just many different ones from her mom, etc. But when we look at issues in Hollywood, TV, etc., we shouldn't more so focus just on one role. I believe that we all should participate. We all should create our own shows. That way we can put whoever we want to put in our shows, right? We can put someone that looks, very visibly black, right? Visibly black, American, African, Caribbean. We can put that in a show. Like I say, it would be cool to get a show where, you have basically, how you got that Modern Family. You can, well, of course, not some of the aspects of what they put in that Modern Family. I ain't talking about that. But I'm saying just basically you could have, your black African family. You could have your African American. You could have your Caribbean family. You can have your Afro-Latino family and just see like how those different families, live their life and kind of dramatize some of that, kind of make them, well, let me not put this whole idea out here for these folks up here and try to take this idea and flip it to something else. But what I'm trying to say is we need to do our own shows. And that's the show that he chose to do based off of, it looks like off his own family, just based off of how the characters set up. But we need to set up our own shows. If Issa Rae can do it or other folks can do it, you can do it. You understand? I mean, we have to maybe save our money, get with some people, get with some writers. I mean, we could do it on a low scale now. We don't have to have a big Hollywood production. And if our show is good enough, maybe a Netflix will want to pay you, to produce content for them, or maybe HBO or whatever else. I'm not saying you giving away your shows to nobody, but you can do like partnership deals where you just basically using their network and they're going to get a cut, but you're going to get a bigger cut and a bigger audience in some cases, right? But the sky's the limit when you create things. This is the time to create our own shows. So you don't see too many sisters on TV like Kalita Smith from the Bernie Mac show. You don't see too many, you see dark-skinned women getting roles, right? Or that's why some of it is where it's coming from. Or even, you have some roles. I know Pam's character was being, ragged on constantly, and that's the way that was set up. Of course, you had Gina with Martin and that dynamic, but we don't even see that anymore. Now it's all, when the shows that, black folks are with white folks or mostly black and white, because of course, that's an agenda they're pushing. And I can talk about that with this one video this one woman had put out talking about they get with black men in order to survive, but that's a different story for a different day. But we should just focus on creating our own shows because we can't depend on Hollywood, which is highly weird, to do it for us. But let me know in the comments if you've seen the show before. If you've seen it, you've seen the dynamics of it, let us know in the comments. And if you had a show, who would you cast to play the husband and wife, the kids, etc.? Because, hey, we all got our ideas, right?